Tuesday. Come on in. Pull up a chair. Gaming Gang Dispatch is in the air. Howdy, gang, and welcome once again to the Duct Tape Studios. I'm Jeff McAleer, your host, here at the Gaming Gang Dispatch, brought to you by, amazingly enough, thegaminggang.com, of which I happen to be the founder and editor-in-chief. So welcome aboard. Tonight is Tuesday, November 7th, 2023. This is live stream 983. If this is your first time joining me, let me point out, super casual around here. We just hang out talking about the latest in tabletop gaming news, and then we either take a look at a tabletop game, or I share every once in a while a live review. Now tonight, I am kicking off Savage Worlds Week. That's right. All 3 episodes this week, we will be diving on into Savage Worlds and various Savage World settings. But tonight, we are actually going to take a peek at the Adventure Edition of the core rule book. So we are going to be diving on in compliments of Pinnacle Entertainment Group. So stay tuned for that. Should mention, if you are tuning in for the live first look, we always tackle the tabletop gaming news first around here, so it is going to probably be about 35-40 minutes before we start taking a peek inside. So if you're watching live, just kick back, put your feet up, relax, enjoy yourself, make yourself at home. Well, just stay out of the fridge, but the rest, make yourself at home. And of course, if you are watching this 30 minutes or more after the stream has ended, there will be timestamps. So if you're an impatient type, you'll be able to jump right past tabletop gaming news, although I personally would not, because there's plenty of really cool tabletop gaming news tonight, as there is every night. But, that's me, not you. If you need to get to that first look and you have no interest in the tabletop gaming news of the day, by all means, use those timestamps. They are located in the show notes and very possibly right there in the timeline of the video in front of you, depending on the device you happen to be watching this on. Of course, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for the latest in tabletop gaming news, reviews, and a whole lot more that you will not find here on the YouTube channel. Come on, you know the drill. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. Of course, also want to mention, because this is a live show, that means there is chat available. It's not on screen. It's one of the ways I keep some of the more unusual commenters at bay. But if you are a subscriber to the channel and have been for more than 48 hours, you can take part in chat. So if you want to say howdy, maybe you've got a question, a comment, maybe there's something about the Adventure Edition of Savage Worlds you want a closer look at, by all means, chime in. I'll do my best to respond. First out the gate tonight is our friend, the Motor City Madman. That's right, the Madman is with us. He also happens to be one of our chat moderators, as is Flaming Huron, who's with us in chat, as is Tessie Trekkie, Shane Sangster, and I thought I saw somebody else pop in, but I guess I was just imagining things. So welcome aboard. Very nice. So Tessie Trekkie says, so much gaming goodness last night. Mystic Bastion Land Free League doing a new role-playing game based on Electric State, and Old Gods of Appalachia. I'm needing out, man. Yes, I heard about the role-playing game. I don't have a whole lot of news about it, so I do not have a news piece for the Free League news because they haven't released enough. Just like I should mention, there are these solo rules for Wissen out there. I would have shared some news about it, but it's all of like a paragraph. Not even, it's like 2 sentences. I'm like, oh, okay, not going to do a news piece for that. So let's jump on into the news because arriving next month from Ravensburger is Mycelia. And here's the skinny. Bring the magical dewdrops from your forest to the shrine of life. Assemble a team of wondrous creatures to help you on your mission. Are you ready for this adventure? Each player starts with the same set of cards in Mycelia, improving their deck with better cards over the course of play as they race to clear their playing field of dewdrops first. In this deck building game, you need the support of mysterious forest dwellers to improve your deck, develop new and better skills, and bring the sacred dewdrops from your forest to the Shrine of Life in order to receive the forest goddess's support. The game includes double-sided player boards for increased variability. There's also an expansion and solitaire rules. Mycelia is for 1 to 4 players, ages 9 and up, plays in around 45 minutes. It's going to carry an MSRP of $39.99 when it arrives on December 1st. Gotta say, I like the art style of this quite a bit. And I do dig deck building games. So there is that. And of course, Ravensburger right now is in the midst of all their Lorcana. It's, hubbub. So it's nice to see something else getting a little love from Ravensburger outside of Disney's Lorcana. But yes, I like the art quite a bit. This looks like this could be fun. Could be fun for the whole family. Kevin R. Smith is joining us in chat. Good to see you, Kevin. So let's talk about some role-playing game news because currently Son of Oak Game Studio has teamed with Bundle of Holding for a couple of money-saving offers on the City of Mist role-playing game. And I've got the deets on the deal. So we're going to talk about the Essentials Bundle. Adventurer! We've resurrected our August 2021 City of Mist Essentials Bundle featuring, you guessed it, City of Mist, the comic book epic myth neo-noir detective tabletop role-playing game. Say that 5 times fast. From Son of Oak Studio. Actually, I could have swore it's Son of Oak Game Studio, but I guess Bundle of Holding saying it's Son of Oak Studio. About ordinary people with legendary powers in a mystery-shrouded metropolis, using a simple but powerful narrative system based on the Apocalypse engine and custom tag-based motivation and advancement rules. City of Mist combines the super detective mood of Daredevil and Jessica Jones with mythic themes out of the Fables comics and Neil Gaiman's American Gods. Hey, gotta point out, if you've never read Bill Winningham's Fables, fantastic. It is just awesome. Love that. Love Fables. Although I got to admit, I have not read the new 12-issue run that has come out. I should pick it up when it gets collected in trades. Anyway, you and your crew investigate strange cases and face off with other modern-day legends, while you struggle to balance your everyday life with the mythos inside you. Hit the streets. This bargain-priced revival once again brings you PDFs of the complete City of Mist Player's Guide and MC Toolkit. They call the Game Master the Master of Ceremonies. That's why it's the MC Toolkit. Funded in a big October 2016 Kickstarter campaign. Plus, the All-Seeing Eye starter set and many player character playbooks, everything you need for a complete urban fantasy campaign in the mean streets of this haunted city. For just $24.95, you'll get all 13 titles in this core collection with a retail value of $99 as DRM-free PDFs, including the complete All-Seeing Eye Investigation Starter Set. Just said that. The Player's Guide and MC Toolkit core rulebooks. I said that too. The MC screen, the location maps, and newly added for this revival, 8 playbooks. Bassie, Ben, Baby Newman, Body, Ghostface, Hectate, Lance Sullivan, Mayreed Conroy, and Scarlet. These savings run through November 27th, and 10% of your payment after gateway fees will be donated to Direct Relief. Yes, you may recall a few years ago, I reviewed the 2 core books for City of Mist. I found this to be a very, very interesting role-playing game, and it is really well supported. That is one of the probably most impressive things about City of Mist is it's from a small game publisher, but there has been loads and loads of support. And I will point out later on this week, I will share a news piece about a new role-playing game that Son of Oak Game Studio is kickstarting. So stay tuned. Kind of funny, I'll actually have a news piece about the other City of Mist bundle tomorrow night. I haven't really talked about Son of Oak Game Studio in, I don't know, 2-3 years, and now we'll actually have 3 news pieces this week. So pretty wild, pretty wild. Martin 7W and our friend Kabuki Kid are with us in chat. Good to see you, Double K. Double K's in the house. And I would take a guess, we might actually have a third chat moderator floating around. Sarah D might be hanging with us as well. Let's move on to the next news piece, because now available in print and PDF is Gods of the Forbidden North Volume 1 from Pulp Hammock Press. Here's the scoop. On the Arctic frontier, at the border between the mountains and the wastes beyond, looms Castle Tharganon. For centuries, the Skull God ruled his domain from his blackened throne. But 20 years have passed since the routing of his armies, and the castle lies abandoned with riches unclaimed. Yet death still lurks in the shadows of the ruins. An ancient doom arises from the depths of this place. Gods of the Forbidden North is a massive 3-volume mega adventure series written for the Old School Essentials Advanced Fantasy tabletop role-playing game by Necrotic Gnome. It details a campaign setting, a wilderness hex crawl, a sprawling underworld connecting to multiple entrances on the surface, and most importantly, an enormous mega dungeon. Volume 1 is the first book, and it covers the Arctic frontier settlements, cultures, religions, and its vast wilderness regions. It includes an urban starter quest and 5 low-level dungeons. Then, the second book is going to detail the underworld below the continent's surface and 6 mid-level dungeons. Then we'll have the third book, which explores Castle Tharganon, its upper halls, mysterious towers, and underground levels. It also includes the Cyclopean city deep under the earth, which leads the entire adventure's climax, the Tesseract of Time. The first volume is designed for a heroic party of 7 adventurers. That's kind of high player count there. To begin at first level and reach a minimum of 5th level by the book's conclusion. Although most parties will hit probably 7th to 8th level if all wilderness encounters are exhausted. Though the mega adventure was originally designed as a sandbox, it also supports episodic adventure path playstyles as well. This trilogy is the only mega adventure product on the market designed specifically for the Old School Essentials Advanced Fantasy rule set out of the box as written. Pretty impressive. Something else that's impressive is this is 473 pages, and it's only volume 1. You can get the hardcover with PDF from DriveThruRPG for $69.99, or grab just the PDF alone for $24.99. And I have got to say, this looks mighty, mighty interesting. It actually appears to have some really solid production quality here, with the artwork and the layout looking good. I would be very interested in checking this out. Now, I will point out that I believe the second volume is going to be coming to Kickstarter early next year. So this is not something where it's like, oh, we got the first volume, second volume's coming out next month. Month after that, we'll add the third volume. No, it's going to take a little bit of time. But you also have 473 pages in this first volume. Pretty impressive. Yes, Sarah D is with us tonight. Good to see you, Sarah. On to the final news piece. Now available in print and PDF from Dawnfist Games is Adventurous. I almost said it like I say Adventurous. And here's the lowdown. Adventurous is a fantasy tabletop role-playing game built from the ground up for players new to the hobby. Every rule and mechanic is designed to be intuitive and easy to grasp to help you get started in minutes, not hours. Are you feeling adventurous? What kind of game is Adventurous? Adventurous is a rules-light and streamlined fantasy game in the OSR vein. It uses a D6 dice pool core mechanic that handles everything from combat to jumping across a chasm. Adventurous is built for speed and ease of use, but still offers the 8 iconic classes, each with unique abilities and features. Whether you're coming from modern tabletop role-playing games like, I don't know, 5e D&D, old school games, or even video games, Adventurous will feel familiar. In the book, you're going to find 179 pages of content, all the core rules from character creation to combat, 8 iconic classes with distinct abilities, a bestiary containing 33 classic creatures, all with unique abilities and behavior, equipment lists and common services, procedures for dungeon exploration and overland travel, magic items, cursed items, and rules for potion brewing, a campaign setting and region map with unique rumors to use as adventure seeds, 20 pages of game mastering advice, character sheets, a game master cheat sheet, and all the rules and resources you need in one single book. The 176-page hardcover with PDF is currently available over at DriveThruRPG for $36.95, or you can grab just the PDF alone for $8.50. That's a pretty smoking deal right there. And I must say, I have a copy of Adventurous. So I will be taking a peek at this in the very near future. I'm kind of bouncing around. I might actually do just a standalone first look video, not do a first look on the dispatch, simply because I've got a lot of stuff for us to be taking a peek at, and I don't want to just leave this sitting around, right? I mean, small publishers need some love. That's why I take a look at this kind of stuff. So yes, looks kind of impressive. And it is not AI artwork either. It looks like it's artwork. It's digitized from photography is what it appears to be. Flaming Huron says Jeff is feeling adventurous. Roger Perdome and Bob Gnarly are with us. Welcome to you both. I think I've said hello to everyone hanging out in chat. So Bob Gnarly asks, was thinking of getting into the OSR, seen anyone play. Was thinking of starting with BECMI or OSE. Well, I like Old School Essentials. I think Old School Essentials is very well done. But if I were somebody who didn't have a lot of experience as a game master, there is really no game master advice in it. It's just rules. So it really is BX. I do like the Advanced Fantasy a lot because I am a huge fan of race and class separate, right? I mean, I guess in a pinch, I would run fantasy role-playing games with race as class, like, say, Dungeon Crawl Classics. But I can also recommend, in fact, I will have a, I was going to say review video, but it's not really a review video per se, of the latest edition of Basic Fantasy. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that, Bob. You might want to take a peek at that if you're looking to dip your toes into the OSR. It's got a little modernization to it, but it is absolutely free. And you can go to basicfantasy.org, download it. All the adventures, all the extra content, all of it is free. Chris Gonderman has just done phenomenal work with that. It's really, really good. Alrighty, that is it for the news tonight. Of course, I was just talking about DriveThruRPG. Don't forget, the Gaming Gang, thus the Gaming Gang Dispatch, is affiliated with the One Bookshelf sites. So if you are going to visit, say, DriveThruRPG or Dungeon Masters Guild, Storyteller's Vault, Wargame Vault, what have you, please stop by thegaminggang.com first. Click on one of our banner ads. That way, if you happen to make a purchase, I get a small portion of that sale. And all those nickels, dimes, and quarters really do add up and help keep thegaminggang.com around. Hooray! Also, the Black Friday sale is coming up. In my opinion, I think that is the best DriveThruRPG sale is Black Friday. Second best is usually their Christmas in July. But I tend to find the biggest discounts tend to hit during their Black Friday. Kevin King is hanging with us in chat. Very nice. Kabuki Kid is talking about BECMI and says that it's maybe the best intro to newbies. Yeah, you know, I could see that. It's been a long, long time. Well, I mean, I've read Basic, I've read Expert. I have not read the CMI part. I never had. But yeah, I could see that. I could see that. Now I can't even, I'm trying to think of the author. There's so many damn RPG authors out there. And I'm like, Moldvay. Tom Moldvay's Basic and Expert are pretty good. Bob Nurley says Frank Mez sucks. He says no one does the CMI part. Flaming Heron says, is GM's Day sale not also good? Oh yeah, it's good. I don't think in the GM game sale, or GM Day sale, I should say, I don't think the discounts are as high. I don't think we get as big a discount on those. So I do also want to point out, I still have that weird cold sinus thing going on. But in fact, my nose is starting to run. It's like, okay. All right. I think I can make it to the brief intermission. Bob Nurray says Frank Mez sucks as a person. He was a good writer. Oh, getting a little too inside baseball, I think. Kevin R. Smith says, if you buy the basic set, the Rules Cyclopedia does not have that. Yeah, the Rules Cyclopedia is interesting. I have seen that. That would be something I would maybe consider getting print on demand, because I think you can get it print on demand from DriveThruRPG these days. So very, very interesting. All right, so tonight we actually do have a little bit of time for some house cleaning, random musings, whatever you want to consider it. But the next two nights, I think we're probably going to go from news to how's everybody doing, brief intermission, and into these box sets, because, man, we have got lots of goodies to look at for both Deadlands and Pathfinder for Savage Worlds. Lots and lots of goodies. Should also remind you that if you have not gotten into the running to win my copy of Planescape Adventures in the Multiverse, this is the friendly local game store alternate art edition, be sure to catch my first look video that was on the dispatch and get into the running, because I'm going to be sharing my review on Friday, and I will be announcing the winner on, I shouldn't say on, in that video. So don't miss out. I mean, come on, it's free and the contest is easy. Super, super easy. Also should point out, I shared my, damn, this box is heavy. I shared my first look at The Other Side of the Hill from NAC War Games. This is coming to Kickstarter. So essentially, it's a review without me calling it a review, because this is not the finished product. That's why I never give these things a review score when I do a Kickstarter preview. And of course, I do point out within the first few moments of the video, I have been compensated by NAC War Games for that video. Keep in mind, they had absolutely no control over the content of the video. They did compensate me to shoot the video. That's all. All right, so we've got that. Something else I wanted to mention, I got a little bit of feedback from people when I floated out the idea that somebody had mentioned, hey, you know, you should actually make the Dispatch kind of like a members only show, that you have to be a member of the channel to watch. And I said, yeah, you know, they mentioned that I'm kind of kicking that idea around. Got a couple of emails, people were like, oh, no way, you can't do that. Well, for one, I can do whatever I want. I mean, this is my thing. And I do kind of see that. I mean, quite a few of you out there who watch regularly, maybe it's live, maybe it's on Memorex, but that was weird how I said that, because that was actually the tagline. Kabuki Kid says, I entered for that Planescape book. It's 3 books. It's a slipcase set. And like I said, I'm just kind of sort of bouncing an idea around. I might consider doing something with like a Saturday show or something like that that's only for members. You know, I don't know. I don't know. But then again, I mean, then it's Saturday, and I wouldn't be doing that on every Saturday. So I don't know. Maybe I'll do a Thursday show like twice a month, or yeah. We'll see. Maybe I won't do anything. Maybe I'll just keep doing what I've been doing. I don't know. I have no idea. All right. So let's see. What else is cooking in chat? Tessie Trekkie says they're sitting in a bar looking out over the most beautiful harbor in the world. I must be hanging out in Jersey. Oh! I don't know. I've been to New Jersey a few times. It was all right. Yeah, okay. It's not New York. So I was in Newark a couple of times. It was East Coast, big city. I liked Newark better than I did Syracuse. So there is that. Syracuse It's kind of dumpy, in my opinion. But then again, as I've pointed out in the past, I'm a Chicagoan. Well, I'm not a Chicagoan anymore. I'm a Chicago suburbs guy. But I grew up and spent about 30 years in the city of Chicago proper. But I happen to be a Chicago guy who likes New York. I like LA. Very few places have I been to that I was like, ew, I never want to come back to this place again. Madman says that they were in Jersey once for boot camp. Wasn't exactly the most fun experience. Nah, I don't think it would be. I don't think it would be. So a bit of discussion. I think we're talking about Frank Metzger. About Kevin Smith says he's done a lot of nasty, petty things the last several years. All right, so I'm not going to go off on a rant about this, but Flaming Heron says Jeff insults random United States cities episode. I'm not insulting. I said I didn't care for Syracuse. It was kind of dumpy. Just, it was like, okay. Bob Gnarly says Chicago is like a slightly nicer Detroit. Really? Okay. If you say so. Of course, Bob's pointing out that they're born in Detroit and they live in the burbs now. It's like, okay. Personally, I would say Chicago's quite different than Detroit, but mainly because there's still like businesses that are open in downtown Chicago. Oh! I'm kidding. I have nothing against Detroit. I've been to Detroit a couple of times. I was like, yeah, it's fine. Yeah, whatever. I'm not here insulting cities in the U.S. Yes, that's that. In fact, that's what I'll call it, Flaming Heron. I'll change the title of this episode to Jeff's city insult show. Bob Gnarly says Detroit's downtown is nice now. Yeah, it's been years. It's probably been 20 years since I was in Detroit, and I was only in a little portion of Detroit. Bob says big mortgage money moved in. Just like a lot of people go in, because I remember there was a neighborhood in Detroit that had been, I don't want to use the term like slums or anything like that, but I mean, it was in disrepair and everything. A lot of abandoned buildings. And I remember this a few years back, reading an article about how all these artists and, like writers and, artistic type people were moving in and kind of just reinventing the neighborhood. I don't want to say renovating. They were kind of reinventing it. It's kind of like, wow, that's pretty cool. So I remember seeing stuff where it's like you could buy a house in Detroit, of course, abandoned, for a few $100s. And it was like, geez. Bob Gnarly says, yeah, artists move in, then rich white kids run them out. Yeah, gentrification. I'm a good friend of mine I went to grammar school with lives in an area of Chicago where it's undergoing a lot of gentrification, and she is not happy. Michael Chad is with us, as is Anthony Good. Well, welcome to you both. Trying to combine that into one word. Welcome to you both. Wabada. All righty. So hopefully everybody had a good weekend. I kind of bummed around a little bit. Yes, I shot that video for The Other Side of the Hill and got that up. So Bob Gnarly says they've got $14 beers downtown now with fancy names. So there is that. I tend to be one of these people. I like neighborhood bars. I have not probably been into a nightclub in, I almost said 30 years, probably 25, about 25 years or so. Cause I think I was probably 29, 30 ish when last time I was in a nightclub. But I tend to just hole in the wall joints. I'm not necessarily saying where it's a place where you'd be sitting there drinking Boilermakers all day. But I don't like franchise joints. So yeah, but $14 beers, yeah. Just like we were in San Diego for Comic-Con. And they always jack up the prices, no matter what. And Elliot and I were hanging out, and we were actually past the gas lamp. So we weren't right down where it's like, oh yeah, we're gonna charge you $35 for a burger and fries. We were beyond that, and we were in a bar, and we ordered a pitcher of Miller Lite, and it was $40. It was like, son of a bitch. It's like, you gotta be kidding me. So I don't know if I'm going to go to San Diego Comic-Con this year. I might take a pass on it. I might take a pass on going to San Diego Comic-Con and taking the funds I spend doing that, maybe hitting a couple of smaller cons that are in the area. I'm still up in the air. I don't know if we're going to do Gary Con, which I would like to. I mentioned this on a show previously. I spent about as much going to Gary Con as I go and spend at Gen Con. And I was like, I don't know about that. I don't know. But my best friend, Elliot Miller, he's like, yeah, he wants to go. And we might actually be getting Elliot to do a video for the channel. I know he's always talking about coming back to the gaming gang. And then I'll be like, hey, what's going on, man? And he's like, I don't know. And then all of a sudden he'll be like, yeah, I really want to get back in. And then about a month or two goes by and I'm like, so what's going on? He's still like, I don't know. Bob Gnarly says, Gary Con is their favorite. Yeah, I enjoyed it. I thought it was fine. I certainly did not like the parking situation, seeing that we weren't staying at that resort. That was bullshit. It's like, geez. It's like, man, it got parked way down this hill. It's like, yeah, okay. All right. So that's about it. That's what's going on. So Bob Gnarly says they stayed at the resort. We had almost stayed at the other resort that was right over there. And then by the time we kind of hemmed and hawed about it, they were booked. So Bob Gnarly said they flew in and Ubered. Did you go see Dungeons and Dragons with everybody? We didn't go. But I know a lot of people who were at Gary Con last year went and saw Dungeons and Dragons. Marius Smith is with us. Good to see you once again. All right, so we are going to be taking a first look at the Adventure Edition of Savage Worlds in just a few moments. But first, I think it's time for a brief intermission.
It's intermission time, folks. Time out for a delicious snack in our sparkling refreshment building. Every item a fresh, appetizing taste treat.
Butterball presents
the spirits of the first turkey lovers.
Dost thou smell turkey?
Oh, 'tis beautiful.
Thou cannot judge turkey by the beauty of its skin.
Indeed, it could be dry.
But this is the Butterball turkey. Always plump and juicy because it's deep basted where hand basting can't reach.
Look how juicy.
Thou never served so juicy a bird.
Thou never brought home a butterball.
Butterball from Swift. 'Tis truly plump and juicy.
This Kenmore microwave oven with variable power can defrost and cook your Thanksgiving turkey.
Kenmore can?
Kenmore can.
Kenmore can.
And right now, you can save $60 on this Kenmore microwave with electronic scan control and temperature probe.
I can save $60?
It's specially priced at $379.95. Aren't you ready for a microwave?
Yes, I am.
Make it a Kenmore. Solid as Sears.
Wilkins Coffee's good coffee.
Boy, what a bad commercial.
The commercial may be bad, but the coffee's wonderful.
Can't get enough of Super Sugar Crisp.
I'll try a sugar bear with a sugar bear breakfast.
Love the taste of Super Sugar Crisp. Hey, look, gang. Sugar Bear breakfast for us.
And a cage for you, bear.
Uh-oh, a blob trap.
You're holding a trap.
Sorry, Blob.
Smart, Sugar Bear.
Smart to have a Sugar Bear breakfast every morning, featuring vitamin-fortified Post Super Sugar Crisp. Taste to put a smile on your face.
There are 50 adventures for G.I. Joe. There are 50 adventures for your G.I. Joe with Kung Fu Grip, each sold separately. Here are 3. You can take Joe on patrol with Sandstorm Survival. And that's Joe with Secret Mission to Spy Island. Assemble Devil of the Deep and you can take Joe on a search for danger. There are 50 adventures for G.I. Joe.
Devil of the Deep comes with everything you see here. G.I. Joe with Kung Fu Grip, G.I. Joe adventure sets and equipment each sold separately.
Wait a second, how much was that microwave? I was like seeing old commercials from the 70s, and some of the stuff is like, oh my gosh, look at how cheap that is, especially food. It's like, oh, cans of vegetables, 6 cans for 49 cents. And you're like, what? It's like, when is this commercial from? And you're like, 1978. It's like, huh? It's like 9 cents a can. And then you'll see a commercial like for that microwave, and it's like $380. And who in their right mind is going to cook a turkey in a microwave? You are never supposed to microwave turkey, even if it's cooked, because of salmonella. It's like, man. Kabuki Kid says they got their first microwave in 1983. Same with the first VCR, if they remember correctly. I think we got our first VCR. It was probably 1980 or 81. I think we got it right before I went to high school, or maybe it was freshman year of high school. Because I know it was kind of a big deal. It's like it was a big deal because I've been best friends with Elliot since freshman year of high school. He had a VCR, but his brother would like copy movies because he had 2 VCRs. And I was like, that's how I've watched Blazing Saddles, I don't know, 400 times. I could still quote huge parts of that movie. Yes, yes. And did want to mention, see, I always get off track on things. If you like this video, by all means, if you like the video, if you dig the channel, if you feel thegaminggang.com is a valuable resource, hell, if you just like what we do, you can always swing on over to paypal.me/thegaminggang to make a small donation. You can always buy me a 2-liter bottle of soda. Yummy. And our friend the Madman recently stopped by and made a not small donation. And big tip of the cap to all of you out there who either use our banner ads for DriveThruRPG and other sites, and or stop by paypal.me. Really do appreciate it. Thank you very, very kindly. All righty then. So we are going to be taking a first look at the Savage Worlds Adventure Edition from Pinnacle Entertainment Group. This is written by Shane Hensley with artwork provided by Aaron Acevedo. The 208-page hardcover carries an MSRP of $39.99, or you can grab just the PDF alone over at DriveThruRPG for the rocking price of $9.99. See, Bernier is with us in chat. Anthony Good says their first VCR was $550 back in the mid-1980s. Bob Gnarly points out they had Blues Brothers on Laserdisc. Almost got a Laserdisc, and then it was sort of like, My first movie that I owned on VHS was Raiders of the Lost Ark. Yes. Sweet. All right, so let's swing on over to the other camera because here I've got the Adventure Edition of Savage Worlds. I will point out that this is not necessarily digest sized. It is not a traditional 11 by 8.5 or whatever sort of hardcover either. So I think, if memory serves, this is considered an A5 size. So yes, I do not have monster size hands. I'm engulfing this book. Before we dive on in, do want to mention the fine folks over at Pinnacle Entertainment Group were kind enough to provide me with this review copy, but neither I nor anyone else affiliated with Gaming Gang has received any other sort of compensation for me to share this coverage with you. These days, it's very important that you know that. Let's take a look at the back here. Anytime, any place. Oh, I know. The madman feels right at home here. Because Savage Worlds is sort of his go-to system, as far as I understand. I believe Savage Worlds is his favorite role-playing game system. I could be wrong, but I think it is. The Savage Worlds Adventure Edition takes you anywhere you want to go, from the weird Wild West of Deadlands to the crime-ridden streets of Necessary Evil, from the curious campus of East Texas University to the distant, untamed worlds of the Last Parsec. Or forge your own worlds, fully customized with setting-specific rules to help you model everything from pulp adventure to sword and sorcery to hard science fiction and everything in between. After years of fine-tuning and playtesting with fellow gamers around the world, this version of the award-winning best-selling Savage Worlds game combines new and updated rules with the latest in narrative play and a tactical foundation you can use for whatever style of gaming fits your group. Savage Worlds is more fast, furious, and fun than it's ever been before. And then we've got some quotes. We do have a quote from Geek and Sundry. Does anyone even bother with Geek and Sundry anymore? Is it even around anymore? I mean, I remember it was such a big deal for a few years, and then they really tried to monetize it. I think they went overboard with the monetization and kind of. So the madman says yes. Savage Worlds is his favorite system. So not being familiar with Savage Worlds at all, am I to understand the Adventure Edition is sort of a streamlined edition of Savage Worlds, even though this is the go-to edition now? I thought that was kind of how this operates. So who did we just get saying that it's, I think it was the madman saying that it is, oh no, I'm sorry, it's Tessie Trekkie. It's an excellent medium crunch generic system. So Michael Chad says they're a fan of riffs. Yeah. My condolences. And I know that they got the license and moved forward the lore. Martin 7W says that channel has not done anything in a long time. Yeah, I thought Geek and Sundry had kind of gone the way of the dodo. All right, so we've got our credits here. So yeah, so written and designed by Shane Hensley, with Clint Black. So let's make sure that we add that in there. Oh, so we have a lot of interior artists. Clint should never grab your details from DriveThruRPG, because DriveThruRPG says the artist on this book is Aaron Acevedo. Yes, the art direction is by Aaron Acevedo and Alita Saxon. I'm not going to read all these artists, but there are a bunch of artists here. All right, so let's jump on in. So we got anytime, any place. Keep in mind, we're not going to look at each and every page of this book, but I do want to give you a good feel for what's in this book. And I'm curious about Savage Worlds Adventure Edition mechanically as well. So Bob Gnarly says, like 5e is dumbed down D&D. Yeah, I would say that. I would say it's streamlined in some ways, and yes, I would say in other ways it is rather bare bones. Kabuki Kid says they've never played 5e, but I don't hate it from what they've read. They bought the core books, mostly like what they saw. Personally, I think mechanically 5e is fine. It's got too much ambiguity to it. That, I think, is what the problem is. So, all right, chapter 1, characters. Great heroes are more than a collection of statistics and numbers, but in a game system, this is certainly where they begin. To make your hero, download a Savage Worlds character sheet from our website and follow the steps below. Okay, come up with a concept, then ancestry. So settings may feature everything from humans to strange aliens, graceful elves, or other exotic ancestries. You can choose to play any ancestry available in your particular setting. That is actually one of the big selling points, in my opinion, for Savage Worlds is how many settings are available for it. And many of the settings are not just generic genres either. So we are going to be taking a look at 2 of them this week with Deadlands as well as Pathfinder for Savage Worlds. So we have hindrances, which are flaws, drawbacks, or dark secrets drawn from a character's backstory. Then we have traits, which are attributes and skills, so they are both. We have attributes. It says every character starts with a D4 in each of 5 attributes: agility, smarts, spirit, strength, and vigor. You then have 5 points to increase your attributes. Oh, so we're looking at, oh, wow. Okay, so we're looking at dice. So we've got, they're dice steps, essentially. So D4 goes to D6 with a point. You're free to spend these points however you like, except that no attribute may be raised above a D12 unless an ancestral ability says otherwise. If it does, each increase beyond a D12 adds a +1 modifier. Okay. So increasing a D12 strength 2 steps, for an example, is strength score D12 +2. Oh, what? No D24? Bob Gnarly said, I smoked a joint with Will Wheaton. I've talked with Will Wheaton twice. And I've lucked out because I've caught him on good days. And he was fine. He was super nice. We actually got him to do a bumper for the old podcast. Felicia Day did one too. But then I heard, you catch him on a bad day, boy, forget it. So we got our skills, core skills. So 5 skills are marked with a red star. Athletics, common knowledge, notice, persuasion, and stealth. These are innate abilities most adult adventurers have. unless an ancestral ability, edge, or hindrance says otherwise. Your character gets a D4 in each of these. So I'm taking a guess. I don't know. Once again, this is all new to me. And I'll be very honest. I'm really excited to finally have an opportunity to kind of dive into Savage Worlds because the Madman talks about it constantly. He doesn't stop talking about it. I'm teasing. But I am really curious about it because I've always heard good things. Kabuki Kid says Wheaton had a pretty big show with his tabletop thing. Sort of a shame he ended that. I think that was another one of these situations where they really decided they wanted to monetize it through the roof. And I think it came back to bite them. So I don't know. I mean, reality-wise, Will Wheaton's fine. I mean, I don't think I'd go out of my way to go see him anywhere. But I wouldn't, go out of my way to avoid him either. I will admit, he was pretty funny on the episodes of The Big Bang Theory that I saw him with. All righty, then. So then we've got skill maximums. So once again, we're looking at the D12. And then you get the +1 if it's an advance beyond that D12. We've got derived statistics, pace, parry, size, and toughness. And then we have edges, which are things that really make your characters unique. We've got gear, we've got background details. All right, so then we're going to start getting into different ancestries. I'm taking a guess these are going to be all over the place as far as genres. So for an example, we've got androids, Aquarians, avians, humans, saurians, making your own ancestries. So we've got hindrances. And I would take a wild guess that the various different setting books have probably way more hindrances and edges included as well. So Martin 7W asks, does anyone have a World War role-playing game? Talking about World War or like weird World War, or because I know you mentioned Titan's Grave. Oh, Will Wheaton. Thank you, Martin, for clearing that up. Yeah, because I was going to say Titan's Grave. That reminds me of something. I've heard that name before, and don't know. I think I shared a news piece when I think it was, if I remember right, I think it was kickstarting, and that was it. I don't think I ever heard anything about it again. Bob Gnarly says Will Wheaton called marijuana ganja. Hey, at least didn't call it grass. Hey, man, pass me that grass cigarette. Okay, so some of the hindrances here. Bad eyes. Can't swim. That's minor. Curious. That's major. It killed a cat. It might kill your warrior as well. Curious characters have to check out everything and always want to know what's behind a potential mystery or secret. You know what? I had to be honest. A trait like that, because there are some specific, species for, Dungeons and Dragons, and it's oh, they're curious. And it's presented as oh, that's a good thing. It really isn't, because you have to go and check stuff out, even if it's against your best interests. So Kevin says there are also genre supplements like the fantasy supplement. And I think it's companion. I think they call it the fantasy companion. There's the horror companion. And those are relatively new, for the Adventure Edition. I think the Supers just came out as well. So I know of 3 of them right off the top of my head. Here's another one, illiterate. They say that's a minor hindrance. I would think that'd be a major. So I don't know. So Madman says, yes, each setting can have its own additional hindrances as well. So you have mute. That would be major. Yeah, I agree with that. Suspicious. Where's racist? No, just joking. Kevin King says the science fiction companion for Suede is due in 2024. Probably. I would think that would be correct. So I thought I saw somebody in chat, I'm not sure who it was talking about a new print run of Savage Worlds, the core book. And I believe this is it. Bob Gnarly's talking about Bill Murray's 1-800 number. Yes, I've heard all about that. You can pitch him roles, and if he's interested, he'll show up. Okay, so we've got some skills. And they're showing the skills are based on, traits, I should say. They're tied into an attribute, it appears. And it's giving us examples of some skills. There's common knowledge, which everybody has. So remember, there were 5 of those. Stealth was another. So these are the skills, and then we should get the edges. It says below is a list of edges common to most settings. You'll find new edges designed for your game world in official Savage Worlds books as well. Weird science, which is actually a skill, not an edge, but I saw it sitting there, so I had to say it. So we've got arcane resistance, quick, filthy rich. Yes, my character's Richie Rich. Combat edges, brawler, dead shot, counterattack. Leadership edges, command, fervor, natural leader. Professional edges. So interestingly enough, the edges can be a wide variety of different things. Kabuki Kid says, cue the weird science theme. That's what I was kind of trying to sing there, but Flaming Yard says, just don't be caught wearing a bra on your head. I won't. I never have been caught, that is. So we have MacGyver. That's kind of funny. A MacGyver can improvise a device from common resources when the need arises. Given a few simple items, he can make a repair roll to craft improvised weapons, explosives, or tools that last until used or the end of the encounter, Game Master's call. We've got legendary edges, professional, sidekick, tough as nails, weapon master. Some discussion of advancement. One of the many great aspects of role-playing games is advancing your character, watching her grow from a novice to a legendary hero. Advancement in Savage Worlds depends on the length of your intended campaign. For short campaigns of 10 sessions or fewer, we recommend characters advance after each session. In a one-shot, you might even want to allow an advance in the middle of the adventure, especially if there's some downtime or a narrative opportunity that makes sense. So an advance lets a character do one of the following: gain a new edge, increase the skill that is equal to or greater than its linked attribute, one die type, increase two skills that are lower than their linked attributes by one die type, increase one attribute by a die type, permanently remove a minor hindrance or reduce a major hindrance to a minor if possible. So as I was going to say, I sort of have the impression, because we haven't gotten into the actual mechanics of the game yet. So Bob Gnarly's calling it a night. Thanks for swinging on in. So I was going to say, I sort of have the impression now there's some discussion about Danny Elfman. Oh, gosh. Yeah. I told you before, you dig deep enough, you're going to find something out about just about everybody that you're just not going to like. Right, so here's some summaries of some of our edges and hindrances. So I sort of have the impression, and the madman can tell me if I'm correct or not, that in Savage Worlds, you're going to have a challenge number or difficulty class or difficulty number, whatever we want to say, and you need to roll equal to or higher to succeed. And you'll probably have modifiers based on like equipment and stuff like that. Kevin King has asked a question I know he's going to get an answer to. He's asking, anyone try the East Texas University setting? Saw it at the friendly local game store. Seemed a bit like Buffy. Take it away, the madman. Madman also points out, I love those ribbon bookmarks. Unfortunately, so do my cats. Yeah, what is up with that? My cats have ruined so many bookmarks of books that I just wasn't even thinking. I put them off to the side because I was reading them and came back and it was like, oh, thanks a lot for shredding those up. So just looking at various different pieces of equipment. Got vehicles. Aha, now we get to the rules. Wild cards and extras. Your hero, a player character, and unique allies, villains, and monsters are collectively called wild cards. Speaking of wild cards, was always a fan of the book series, which was edited by George R.R. Martin. Although I kind of hopped off around, I think it was book 13 or 14, because it was losing steam. Although I know recently it's back. Kind of tempted to maybe pick one of the new series up, see how they are, because I guess we're back to them being shared anthologies, as opposed to when I kind of got off that train, it was just novels by a single author. Wildcards are noted with a design of some sort before their name, like this. Red. The actual wildcard symbol varies and is usually themed for the particular setting, such as a skull and crossbones for a pirate game like 50 Fathoms, or a marshal's badge in Deadlands. Besides your own characters, it's up to the game master to decide which characters are wildcards. Wildcards are those who have stepped up to do more than most. They dare, aspire, and risk it all to be a hero or a villain. So essentially, wildcards are just tougher. This is what I'm getting here. And probably more detailed than just a mook or jamoke or whatever they want to call the just standard NPCs. Okay, so trait rolls. To make a skill or attribute check or roll, Simply roll the die assigned to it. If the result is 4 or better, the target number, there we go. It's a target number. The action is successful. For example, if a character's strength is a D6, he rolls a 6-sided die on a 4 or better, he's successful. Really? That's it? Oh, okay. There are modifiers, though. So we have positive and negative modifiers. We have multiple dice. When a character rolls multiple dice, such as when firing a machine gun, check each die separately. Then we have the wild die. That's what I thought there was an extra die in here. It says extras roll a single die when making a trait roll. Wild cards roll an extra D6 and take the highest of their trait die or the wild die. Both of these dice can ace. So I'm going to expect acing is exploding dice, maybe? All trait and damage rolls in Savage Worlds are open-ended. That means when you roll the highest number possible on a die, you get to roll that die again and add it to the total. There we go. This is called an ace. Most games refer to that as an exploding die, but that's okay. That's all right. Raises. Sometimes it's important to know how successful a trait roll was. Every 4 points over the target number is called a raise. Nice. I like that. That's cool. Because I was going to say, wow, you've got a D12, and all you got to do is roll a 4 or higher. You're pretty likely to succeed. And I like how it's for every points over that, you would get a raise, which is obviously going to be a higher level of success, or you're doing more damage, things like that. So far, I would say mechanically, this is pretty interesting. Not difficult to wrap your head around, that's for sure. So the Madman says for melee, you roll against the opponent's parry. The target number of 4 is for ranged attacks. So we've got an opposed roll, or is it just a parry score? I would think it's an opposed roll. I happen to be a fan of role-playing game systems where attackers and defenders roll dice at the same time, and defenders can deal damage to attackers. I like that a lot. Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay is a game like that. And I feel that it actually really kind of speeds up combat and makes combat a lot easier to narrate as a game master. So we've got opposed rolls. So here we've got the Madman and Kevin R. Smith are both sharing details about the mechanics. Now, I've heard of the bennies. So the bennies are for like re-rolling missed rolls and things like that. So Kevin King says, ace, raise, bennies, cards for initiative, Deadlands roots are showing. Yes, because, damn, my nose is running again. I better catch it before it gets away. Yes, because if I remember correctly, I think Shane Hensley's first major role-playing game that he designed was Deadlands. And if you may recall, I did a show talking about Deadlands, and I was like, was that Pinnacle? I thought it was a different company, but it was. It was actually, I guess, the first big hit for Pinnacle Entertainment Group, or Shane Hensley created Pinnacle Entertainment Group in order to publish Deadlands. And I had all the splats. Well, I shouldn't say all of them. I'd say the first 3 years that game was out, I had all the releases for it and never ran it. I just got a kick out of reading it. I've discussed many a time how many role-playing games I've owned over the years. Long before I started doing this stuff, that I just read. I just enjoyed them. I never ran them. Okay, so we've got player character bennies and game master bennies. So yes, the game master will also get bennies. Heroes get bennies when they do something clever or role play or affected by their hindrances in a scene. The GM doesn't reward herself when role playing her villains, but her characters do benefit from drawing jokers in combat. All right, so what is a joker? Hang on, we're getting to it, I guess. I'm going to take a guess. Is the joker in initiative? Kevin says, yeah, Savage Worlds is a simplified version of Old Deadlands originally created for a board game. Michael Chad says, I have so many books I read that I'm never going to play. Yes, I know. Madman says, every 4 points of damage rolled over the opponent toughness results in a wound. Kabuki Kid is making a New Jersey reference that no one here will get. Yes, Benny's go home. I don't know. I do not know. Although I was talking about Newark earlier. So the Madman says, yeah, standard poker deck for initiative. Joker is special. All right, so then we get into combat. Here we go. The action cards for initiative. GM can deal cards face up or face down as they see fit. So they might also deal the player's cards face up and the villain's face down to increase the player's tension and uncertainty. At the start of each round, deal each wild card a single action card. Allies under a player's control act on their action card. Extras, such as all zombies, all wolves, and so on, should usually share an action card so they act at the same time. This makes them much easier to manage. You can also group wild cards with their minions if you want. Okay. And then you shuffle the deck after any round in which a joker was dealt. So we've got the countdown. So you count down from ace down to 2, with each group resolving its actions when its cards come up. Ties are resolved by suit order. Spades are first, then hearts, diamonds, and clubs. I would have thought hearts or diamonds would have gone first. Characters or groups with a joker act whenever they want in the round, even interrupting another's action. They also add +2 to all trait and damage rolls this round. Ooh, so getting a joker is good. Getting a joker is good. Unlike being a joker in wild cards. Then we got damage, which the Madman has already given us a little bit of information about. Breaking things. Called shots. Covering obstacles. So tactically, this looks like we've got a good amount of crunch. Innocent bystanders. Mounted combat. I said mountain combat? Yes. Mountain combat for your player characters who are rangers. So Kabuki Kid says, it was a thing the beach residents would say about the day trippers to the beach, specifically from New York or North Jersey. Benny's go home. So it looks like this is all in alphabetical order here. So a lot of these are going to come up in certain situations. So as an example, if you're running a fantasy setting, probably not going to worry too much about shotguns. Got suppressive fire. I am very, very intrigued. All right, so now we have the Adventure Toolkit. GM facing, I would take a guess. Says the following chapter contains tools, there we go, the Game Master can use for all the special situations that often come up in a game, such as allies, chases and vehicles, hazards, social conflict, travel. Talking about typical allies, allied personalities. Groups. Make group roles for extras who move and act together. If they have a wildcard leader, use his skill to make maneuvering rolls and assume his leadership keeps the group together. This means shaken members of a group are dragged along with the rest, and individual wounds or other conditions are ignored unless that specific member is targeted or all the members of the group share the same condition. Aha! Customized chases. Little customization can make each chase different and unique. So then there's some ideas for various encounters. Dramatic tasks. Heroes often find themselves in tense and dangerous situations, such as defusing a bomb, hacking a task that's not going to just be resolved with a single roll. All right, Kevin King is rocking on out. Good to see you, Kevin. Thanks for hanging with us tonight. Mass battles, quick encounters. Sometimes the Game Master may want to quickly sum up an encounter rather than track every action round by round. Quick encounters resolve these kinds of situations with good collaborative storytelling, tension, and risk. Hard choices. Use this rule for more dramatic and gritty games. The GM and her wildcard characters don't start with bennies, but every time the players spend one, it goes into her pool where it can be used for any of her characters. If this rule is in play, jokers no longer grant bennies to either side. High adventure. Characters can spend a benny to gain the one-time use of a combat edge. Travel, wealth. Powers. Oh, okay. Most Savage World settings feature magic in one form or another. Whether it's hidden occult lore practiced only by dark cultists, voodoo rituals, the eldritch sorcery of powerful wizards, weird gadgets created by mad scientists, superpowers, or brain-burning psionics, these rules handle it all in one simple system. For ease of use, we call all of these effects powers. They work the same from game to game, but the particular use, modifiers, and trappings give the same core powers endless variations. Interesting. Arcane backgrounds, trappings, activation, some of the powers here, and of course, obviously enough, those setting books will have more powers too. Arcane protection, beast friend, disguise, divination, fear, healing. Healing removes wounds less than an hour old. A success removes one wound, and a raise removes two. The power may be cast additional times to remove additional wounds within that hour, as long as the healer has enough power points. Flaming Heron says, gives you plenty in this book, though. Yeah, I gotta admit, this book is pretty packed. And one thing I notice is not a lot of fluff because it's a generic system. It's not set in any default genre or anything like that. But Yeah, I gotta say, this is giving you your money's worth. That's for sure. And artwork's solid. I will say that some of the artwork is, I mean, it's solid, but some of the art is just kind of, I don't know. I don't know what word I want to use here because I don't want to be derogative. Functional. Although that kind of sounds derogative. But you know what? I got to say the same thing for a good amount of like the 5e D&D art. Just, we don't see as much artwork that really blows you away anymore. And I think a lot of it is because so much of it is digital. Not AI, digital. So we got our bestiary here. So it looks like we've got some information about probably creating our creatures and monsters and non-human things. And then it looks like we're going to get a short bestiary. I'm really curious how Pathfinder translates to this. I'm very, very interested in seeing that. Madman says, Savage Worlds has been pretty easy to teach. I've never had anyone not pick it up quickly. Yeah, because the reality is you're looking at a core mechanic. Granted, yes, you've got other various different systems going on, but still your core mechanic is simply looking to, if you're just performing a task, rolling your die and looking for 4 or higher. Or, as the Madman had mentioned in combat, you're rolling against, if it's melee, you're rolling against somebody's parry. And I guess if you're doing damage, you're looking to roll over their toughness. So we've got a few standards here: giant spider, troll, vampire, zombie, werewolf. And then our final chapter is game mastering. And I believe this is the character we've got on the cover of the book. Learning the rules, your game, campaign types, horror, yes, horror, oh, the horror. That is my genre. Interesting. Oh, then we got some templates here for blasts, like for spells and stuff, and explosions and whatnot. Kabuki Kid says that I think she just mentioned the artwork being homogenized. I think is pretty much the good word right there. She says, yeah, digital and sort of homogenized. Like they now have a standard style. Yeah, right. Kabuki Kid also says, doesn't help. It's not always easy to see who's credited for various art pieces. Leave their signatures on their pieces. Because yes, there are some fantastic artists out there who the artwork isn't, as Kabuki Kid pointed out, homogenized. All righty, so that is a look inside the Savage Worlds Adventure Edition. Tessie Trekkie asks, did we see the picture of the kids in the hospital? I don't think so. I think I probably flipped past it. All righty, once again, this 208-page hardcover carries an MSRP of $39.99. And as was discussed in chat, there is a new print run that pre-orders are being taken for. I don't know if this is from that run or not. But I know they were waiting for new copies to hit their warehouse. And because they were going to send this out right after Gen Con, but they didn't have any copies available. So, okay, Tessie Trekkie says, very final page. All right, so let's see. Oh, there we go. Okay. Oh, that's cool. I like that. I didn't realize that's supposed to be a hospital. I guess I would take a guess the kids are supposed to be cancer patients. Playing a role-playing game. Sweet. Very cool. Very cool. I'm impressed. I am impressed. So I got to be honest. I just have to finish up a little bit of the adventure for Planescape so I can do my I'm going to shoot it probably Friday morning so I can do my review. And I think when I wrap that up, I'm going to start reading this. It's pretty interesting. Very, very nice. And this is just the beginning of Savage Worlds Week. Also was going to mention, you can grab the PDF over at DriveThruRPG for $9.99. That is a smoking deal, seeing that normally we see PDFs run half the MSRP of the physical book. In this case, it's only a quarter of that. All righty. So, of course, I will be sharing a review of the Adventure Edition of Savage Worlds in the not too distant future. So Michael Chad says, Savage Worlds Week? Yes, it is Savage Worlds Week. I should mention next week might be Pathfinder Week, Pathfinder Remastered Week. I'm not positive yet because Paizo Inc. doesn't know if the new, well, there's 4 volumes in Remastered. 2 of them are coming out. And they're not positive if they're going to ship this week from the warehouse or if they won't ship until next week from the warehouse. But if they do ship out this week, we're probably going to have a Pathfinder Week next week, and we'll take a look at the 2 remastered books, and then I will be sharing a review. Yes, a live review. We don't get too many of those. If not, we'll be looking at other stuff. But yes, it is, I almost said Pathfinder Week. It is Savage Worlds Week here on the Dispatch, because tomorrow we're going to dive on into the box set for Deadlands, the Weird West, as well as the Weird West Companion and the Weird West Pawns. So we're going to be looking at this on tomorrow's show, and then on Thursday's show, got to go get it because this is a heavy box. Yay. Pathfinder for Savage Worlds. We're going to take a look at Ultimate Core. No joke. This is a big, heavy box. There's a look at some of the stuff that's in this. So we're going to take a peek at that, as well as the Pathfinder for Savage Worlds Companion. That's why I know these are called companions, because I had seen the Deadlands Companion and the Pathfinder Companion. So Michael Chat says, ooh, I'm going to tune in for that. Sweet. Very nice. The Madman will not be here tomorrow. It's his Middle-earth game. Got that on the horizon, too. The new releases for Lord of the Rings role-playing, as well as the One Ring 2nd Edition, are going to be on their way from my friends over at Free League Publishing. Very nice. All righty, that is it for this time out. If you were watching live, thank you very much. Of course, if you watch live and took part in chat, a bigger thank you, because not only are you keeping me company, you're keeping each other company when I'm here paging through a role-playing game book or unboxing a board game. Much appreciated. Of course, I know a lot of you out there don't have an opportunity to watch live. Doesn't matter if you're watching live or on Memorex. I really, really do appreciate you coming by and watching any of the videos here on the Gaming Gang channel. Of course, if you like this video, give it a quick thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and if you do subscribe, don't forget, ring that bell, because it'll not only let you know when the Dispatch streams live Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday evenings at 7 p.m. Central. It'll also let you know when I upload other videos, such as my review of Vaesen, the Lost Mountain Saga, which goes live later on tonight. Yes. Of course, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for all latest in tabletop gaming news, reviews, and a whole lot more you won't find here on YouTube. You know the drill. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. Alrighty, everybody enjoy the rest of your morning, afternoon, evening, whatever time of day it is in your neck of the woods. I will be back tomorrow. And as always, I certainly hope all of you out there enjoy plenty of great gaming with your gang.